Hello, welcome to the ARRAYdio podcast. I'm your host, Caroline Schaefer. This week's interview is with Georgeanna Pinkney of the Greater Life of Fayetteville. Now, we recorded this back in December, so we do talk about different ways that the children and the families that she serves can be helped during Christmas. But please know, if you're feeling charitable, you can help all throughout the year. So let's dive into the interview with Georgeanna Pinkney. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ARRAYdio podcast. I'm your host, Caroline Schaefer, and today I have with me Georgeanna Pinkney. So let me tell you a little bit about Georgeanna before I tell you what she does currently. Georgeanna Pinkney was born and raised in McLennanville, South Carolina, in Charleston County. She and her family became residents of Fayetteville, Cumberland in 2003. She has served as a mentor for the Urban Ministry and the Find a Friend program, graduated from the Cumberland County Citizens Academy, the City of Fayetteville Citizens Academy, and the United Way Leadership Program. All these programs open the doors of opportunity for Georgeanna to be able to serve 5 years on Fayetteville Cumberland Human Relations Commission. She also served on the Greater Fayetteville United, NAACP, the NAACP Education Coalition. She's a member of the Fayetteville Cumberland Ministerial Council, and she is a member of an amazing ministry, Covenant Love Church in Fayetteville, North Carolina. What does she do right now? Well, she does a lot of those things right now, but currently she is the president and the chief executive officer of Greater Life of Fayetteville Incorporated. I'm going to read some things, but then we're going to get into this and we're going to find out more and get to know Georgeanna a little more because she's amazing. Greater Life of Fayetteville offers service to students on out-of-school short-term suspension plus an after-school customized program for those children in jeopardy of suspension, and a 5-week YOU-nique summer academy. And let me just say here, everybody, YOU-nique is spelled Y-O-U because we'll get into that a bit later, but it's focusing on the individual, yes, which is so important. The program is based on the student's grade and demonstrated conduct issues throughout the school year. There is also a virtual learning site to help parents with their child who is struggling with virtual learning and to support the Cumberland County Schools, which right now seems like a great thing to have access to. And this is great. I know for me, I had one kid who was great at school and the other one struggled a lot. Her organization hosts several parent workshops throughout the year. Georgeanna, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You have such a heart to serve. Where did that come from?
Oh my gosh. I think it's a part of my heritage because my mother was like that and her mother was the same way. And it just seems natural. It's not a job. It's not stressful. It's just nice. It's pleasant, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. I just have a heart for kids.
Can you share when that really kind of started to come to fruition for you?
Okay. Well, Greater Life of Fayetteville actually came out of personal life experience. And I'm going to say everything in a polite way, so that everyone can understand that when you're in a marriage, it takes two, but the other person had other ideas. So I became a single mom with 3 kids, and they had felt the sense of being rejected, abandoned. So that created a lot of concerns and issue with them. They were being suspended from school. They were getting in fights. And amazingly, foster care was put into my lap. And that came from my children befriending a young lady who was visiting her sister from Louisiana. And she and her sister got into a fight and she came to my home and we called DSS and the law enforcement, and they came instantly. And from that, the DSS representative said, have you thought about being a foster parent? Because you're really good with this kid. And we became a foster home for a little over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And we worked with kids that carried a lot of baggage, Same thing, being rejected, being abandoned, hurt. And matter of fact, one sibling group, the mother just said, I don't want you anymore. And
Wow.
we cared for them for about 3 years until they got adopted, out. So all of that, these kids face so much and needing the help from the community. And I received some help. And then you also have some that people say, well, I'll help you. And then when the time came, there was no help. So you had to learn to do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And as I continue to serve the foster care community, I also working with my own kids, which gave me an up to see what more can be done, what more can we do. And right now, my children are 43, 37, and 30. And they're doing magnificent. We do hear back from some of the foster kids, and they're doing wonderful as well, which makes you feel really, really good.
Yeah.
But the overall, I think I learned more from them than they learned from me. And I just felt that if I was going through all of this, other parents were facing some of the same thing, either single home or 2-home parents. So that's where Greater Life basically got birthed out of. But also I worked for a nonprofit agency where I left 12 years of civil service to go work for a nonprofit agency that reached out to young people. And I served 5 vice presidents, the urban sides of the state, from Virginia, where are we? North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Tennessee, all the way up to Arizona, Chicago area. I was the hub for those 5 vice presidents who reached out to young people from elementary to sophomores in college. And one of the presidents, he and his wife also had a ministry called Greater Life. And wherever the vice president goes, I went with them. So I went to their home state at the time, and they showed me who they work with. And their ministry consists of siblings who were abandoned by their parents,
Wow.
living out of cars, but still going to school. And was just so amazing. And then from there, my heart said, wow, I can do something similar. And I asked them permission. Can I use Greater Life where I'm going? Because you want to offer them a greater life.
Right.
And that's basically where Greater Life name comes from. And they're located in Newark, New Jersey. And they're phenomenal ministry, and they do great work. And they've been doing this for nearly 40 years now.
Wow.
So yes, so I have a great mentoring couple that has really pushed me forward, just like the urban ministry has also pushed me forward to do what I'm doing right now.
That's amazing. I love your story.
Thank you.
I really do. It got me thinking, because it took a lot of courage as a parent going through what you were going through with your 3. There's a lot of people. I mean, I've been one of those parents that, I don't want my kids that are already struggling around other kids that have worse problems sometimes, because I'm afraid they might pick up behaviors. I mean, my kids are grown now too, but how did you find the courage? What was the drive behind erasing that fear? And maybe you still had it, but being able to transform not just the lives of the children that came to stay with you, but also your children. And then I'm going to assume yourself as well. Because you're one of those people like to learn and is always growing. And so I know that's kind of a big question, but.
No, but that's a great question, because I think I saw each one of them individually instead of all these children. One thing I used to always do, even before I received the foster children, I tried to spend quality time with each one of my children individually.
Okay.
Because each one have their own personality and they're different from the other. So I did the same thing with the foster kids. I try my best to, and I know I could not, but I try my best to walk in their shoes to see what they went through and what can I do to help them. This was one thing I used to do when I came home from work. What was so phenomenal is my neighbor became my babysitter. So when the kids came home from school, they went to her. But when I came home from work, I always said one thing to all of them: you owe me something. And they would be baffled every time. They said, what? I said, you forgot? You owe me something. And then they thought, I said, where's my hug? I want my love. And that broke a lot of the kids that came that had the walls built up.
Yeah.
And it took a little time.
Yeah.
But then they began to hug. They began to say, it took us about a year to get one young man to say, I love you.
You didn't define them by their behavior.
No, I did not. I want to see them as themselves individually. And I think that's what really caused me to grow, and also to help them to grow, because I didn't compare the siblings. Oh, you should be like your sister, or you should be like your brother. No, I never did that. I didn't do my own children, because I know they have their own individual personalities, their way of thinking, their way of doing things. And some were a challenge, I'm gonna be honest with you. But you have to learn to not just adapt, but learn other strategies and ways of reaching them and building them, not tearing them down, but building them. And we did a lot of praise, a lot of corrections in different ways that they won't understand. You know, just like if you put a child in timeout, the child is 6 years old, you're not going to leave them in timeout 10 minutes. It's just going to be according to their age. And so I want you to think about what you did. And when you get out, let's talk about it. So, yeah. So that's how I guess I worked through all of that.
How did you take care of you, taking care of everyone else?
Oh, you know what? That was the hard part. Because during that time also, I was in college full time working on my master's. And really did not think about me until one day my chest began to hurt and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh my goodness.
End up going to the doctor, and on the way, I received a sharp pain in my chest and my foot hit the accelerator and I could not get it off. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And finally the pain subsided and I can take my foot off the accelerator. Got to the doctor's office. She sent me for x-rays. And the technician says, what are you going to stop doing? She said, it's always stress. Wow. So for 3 days, I couldn't do anything. She said, I don't care if you don't take a bath. You know, but for 3 days, I needed to rest. And then I learned if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of the children.
Right.
So I had to learn to have some downtime. And I was faithful in the community, did fundraisers for single moms, for the elderly, as well, for about a total of 5 years, along with a gentleman in that community. So I just had to learn how to back off and find some GP time, some Georgeanna Pinckney time, you know, even if it was just 30 minutes. And I realized gardening was one of my outs.
I was going to ask, so what do you do? Well, so you come on over, because I'm terrible at it.
So gardening, and I used to be a movie buff. I loved movies. So I would have the kids to do the chores on Friday night. So once the chores are done, Saturday and Sunday, they do whatever they wanted to do. So I decided to do the same thing. So on Saturdays, I'll be in my nightgown or my robe and watching movies all day long.
There you go.
Yes. So you have to have a balance. And even though I learned it the hard way, I still learned that I need to have balance for myself. I have to take care of myself as well.
What do all the different programs that you are currently involved in and do? What do those look like?
But going to the YOU-nique Summer Academy, that birthed out of one of the volunteers who's working with us. And one of her children were really struggling in school, really struggling. And she said, I really need help for my child. And then we came up with YOU-nique Academy, because every child is unique in their own way. And so we got started at FTCC. for 5 weeks. We targeted their weaknesses first in academics. It could be math, reading, writing, comprehension, you name it. So each child, as we do our intake, we focus on where the weaknesses are, but we use the strength for them to help other kids in the classroom.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then we did art, we did music. What was so great that we invited Chief Hawkins. She came out and spent time with us. Sheriff Enos Wright spent time with us. Mayor Colvin did. The former Mayor Pitts came out as well and spent quality time with these kids, and they were so excited. What was so unique, we had one young man, he did not like taking pictures. He didn't like asking questions or anything. But when Chief Hawkins came, oh my gosh, it's like he had questions all over the place. And from that point forward, he opened up even more. So certain people can have impact on kids' lives. We may not know who it is or what it would take, but just to see this young man open up was phenomenal. Everything just moved from there. With FTCC inviting us in to host our program. And what was great because some of the parents that were returning to obtain a GED, their children were struggling. So that was perfect. So while they're coming to school, they're bringing their kids to us, and we work with them. What was a beautiful partnership that we had with them. Yeah.
I love that. So how long has the YOU-nique program been going on?
This will be the 3rd year.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
now you have moved locations since last year, right? You moved locations. You are at a really cool building.
Right. We're at FTCC off B Street, which a lot of people didn't know about. And since the COVID, due to renovation and also the situation, we were asked to relocate, and this great door has opened up for us. We're located at the historic Orange Street School that was built in 1915 for African-American students, which is wonderful. Yeah. And out of this building, E.E. Smith High School came out of here, and to my understanding, Fayetteville State University also got started out of this building.
That's
and awesome. Maybe more that I have no knowledge of.
Right.
But beautiful. And this building also has a museum upstairs, but you have to get with the building manager in order to visit upstairs. Yeah. But it's a beautiful facility where we have more than enough room to host up to 25 students. We could host more, but we want quality instead of quantity. If that makes sense. So we can host up to about 25 students comfortably with the social distancing and making sure that we follow the rules of safety. Now, within I Am YOU-nique, we also have a community program called Through My Eyes.
Okay.
And what this program does, it allows the parents, and this is bonding with their children more, to take the kids around Cumberland County, Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and let them take pictures of 3 locations that interest them. They will come back, lay those pictures out, and pick one and write on it. If there's a history, find out the history on it, and then write why did they choose that location. Wow, what does it mean to them to select that particular location, and how do they see living in Fayetteville, Cumberland County? And then we turn around and have them to put it all on canvas. And this is an artwork that they do. And we presented it to the Art Council. The Arts Council supported us, Covenant Love Church supported us, and also Junior League of Fayetteville all supported us with this project. So it will be a continuation of Through My Eyes because it was so successful.
So how can organizations, individuals, businesses best support you? What are some of the needs that would help you continue to reach out to the community and be active in making such a difference in children's lives and parents' lives as well.
One thing is that we always need volunteers, those that have a heart for the young people. And, you know, that word at risk is really a challenge for me. Because the young people we have worked with, you just need to understand where they're coming from, what their situation is, and just be a positive voice for them and also a positive presence in order for them to work through and let them come to know who you are. Because without them knowing who you are, they can't trust you. And we want them to trust us. Okay. Right. So volunteers are very important, especially retired teachers, those who are in different businesses. Because what we also do is when we do an intake application, we always ask the child, what are you interested in? We had one that wanted to own their own business. And I said, are you serious? Yes. Well, I called in a business partner, someone who had owned a business since 2003. Wow. To come in and sit with this child and explain everything to them. I said, if you're ready, we're ready to help you get your business started. Well, I'm only a kid. That's right. We can help you get your business started, even as a child, you know, as a child. So it just various things like that we do with them. Also, we always need financial support to help keep the organization going, because this is still not rent free. We still have to pay rent and utilities and, you know, the necessities. Mm-hmm. Art supplies is always great. We are looking for keyboards to introduce different types of music to the young people. Even though they still receive art during virtual learning, but it's nothing like during their break time to still let them explore more of the art world, either through drawing, music, drama, you name it. And that's what we offer as well as an out. We also have games such as with chess, checkers, things that create strategies to help them to make decisions, the right moves in life. So those are some of the things that we ask people to help us with, and just be a support for us. We're also looking for transportation, because some parents really don't have transportation to get their children here. And along with that, someone that will help us, even if we have some churches that's willing to just pick up the kids for us and bring them here and take them back, that would be phenomenal. You know, so those sorts of things that will really help us out a great deal.
Are there organizations that you partner with? Because you don't just handle academics, you are dealing with the whole person. Mm-hmm. So if you have families that maybe don't have enough food or things like that, are there other organizations that you partner with to serve the community?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We would like to sponsor, right now we have 10 active children, and we'd like to sponsor them for Christmas.
Okay.
So if there are organizations, additional organizations or businesses that would like to sponsor these young people, that would be fantastic. We have New Day, we have a couple of other organizations that will be supplying food for them to take home on Fridays.
Okay.
And this will be every Friday.
Wow.
Not just on Christmas, but every Friday, which was so, yeah.
Okay.
My heart just swelled when she said that to me. So we're looking forward for that. But we'd like to just bless them for Christmas.
Sure.
You know, bring it here. And we're getting ready to go and get a Christmas tree so they can decorate it themselves. And then I have the Christmas list, which is really funny. I've never known so many kids want slime as a Christmas gift. Slime. Yes. Okay. So it's very interesting. Okay. But if there are organizations or banks or churches that willing to support these young people and the families for the holidays, that would be fantastic. And they are phenomenal children. They really are. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. Yes.
Well, they have a phenomenal leader, and I do mean that. There's a there's a difference between managing and leading, and those children are blessed. And it sounds like the impact that you make is bigger than you probably will ever see, and will continue to make an impact, not just in the community, but within individuals who then go out and make bigger impacts as well.
And you know what? And I must add, the volunteers that we have now and the board members that we have are phenomenal. You cannot find any greater and bigger hearts than these people. And you met them when you met the ones that work here, the teachers and the mentors that's here. When they come in, I mean, these kids get up out of their chairs and just go hug them, just embrace them, because they are here for them. It's not just because, oh, you know, I just want to put this on my resume that I volunteered. No,
Right.
their hearts are truly here for these young people. So I have to give just great thanks to the ones that are here and to the board members who see the vision and acts on the vision, which is really, really wonderful and unique. And they're unique themselves.
Ah, I love that. I love that.
Yes.
It's so creative. I enjoy coming and talking to you just about life and sharing, you know, different stories of faith and struggle, and how life has just, I mean, it just happens. We can't stop time.
Right.
We can't do anything about that, but we can do something about who we interact with and what we do with our life.
That's right. And how we interact with them.
That's right.
You know, is plays a big part in building relationship. And that's one thing that we at Greater Life of Fayetteville does. We build relationship, and not just short term. We want long lasting relationships. Mm-hmm. So our mentoring program is not just when the kids are here, but it's lifelong. You know, they can be 50 years old and they call Mr. Frank back and says, "Hey, do you remember me?" Mr. Frank may have his hearing aid in and say, "Huh?" You know? But we want to build, it's all about relationship. We have to have relationship in our community and throughout our community, because without relationship and communication, we're lost.
Yeah.
We're lost.
It's true.
You know? And I'm grateful for the urban ministry, for Johnny Wilson. I'm grateful for Cumberland County Communicare, Sarah Hallock. I'm grateful for Greater Fayetteville United, Casey Harney and that group. I'm grateful for Anne Marie and Array Magazine, you know, because she did the first article on us about 4 years ago, and when her magazine's like, yeah, you know. So and it's so many more. I'm just really, really grateful for those who believe in us and supporting us, like Eaton Corporation, United Way. Those people have come behind and says, you know what, you got something here. And now we're really grateful that Cumberland County Schools and the parents and the community says, you know what, let's check them out and see what they have to offer. You know, so I'm grateful. I don't take anything for granted, even the littlest thing. And our relationship that we're building between you and I'm grateful for that as well. I really am. Yeah, and you are such an encourager.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So let me just tell y'all, people, I go to her office so I can go, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do. So I just thank you. Well, because you are so, you have a way of drawing out who the person really is. It's not, it's interesting. I'm trying to find a metaphor for it, but you find a way to pull out the good, because I mean, we all have stuff within us that we're working on.
Yes.
But that doesn't have to be who we are. And our struggles, you're going to have struggles every day, every single day,
yes,
of some level.
part of life.
Yeah, it's just daily.
Yes.
And you find a way to really remind the person that you're talking to that they are okay and they are wonderful the way they are right now, in this very present moment. And you have a way of doing it that's just so natural and genuine and authentic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to interview you and to get this out there. And I pray that a lot of people hear this and find a way, because it's really easy to kind of draw inward when things are hard.
Yeah,
But there's so much more satisfaction when you go outward and serve.
exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. And and for many years, and I think that me leaving 12 years of civil service to go work for a nonprofit organization was unheard of. And I felt as though I needed more working with the kids, working with the single parents, really just working with kids, period. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the foster kids that I had that we worked with, they were a challenge. They were we were. But when they left, you can see it's like, okay. You can see the smile on their face, or they call back and says, hey, because my kids were around about the same age as most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And just to hear them stay in contact with each other, it's really great, a great feeling. And I'm just an outside person. I like outreach. I like being out there with people. And you may not believe this, but I used to be a real serious introvert.
Really?
I would not talk to anybody.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. We'll be in a room with 100 people, and you will find me sitting in the corner by myself. I could not hold a conversation with anyone. And finally, one day, and this is actually that's a God. You need to do something about this, and He did, and it was interesting. and from that point forward, this is me.
Well, you're wonderful. You're
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you so much.
So if there's one more thing you could add.
We are really looking diligently for 2 homes or 2 houses where we can host and work with young people who are aging out of foster care and have no place to call home.
Okay.
We want to work with them. I guess the government-wise, we'll call them transitional housing, but we want to call them single action plan, to give them a plan, give them a hope in the future. And these are young people who are not sure about being out on their own. They still need help with their finances, still need help with taking care of themselves, etiquettes of life, I'll put it that way. So we're looking for 2 homes, one for the females and one for the males. We want to host up to 8 in each home, or maybe 6. But so we'll be able to work with them, mentor them, make sure if they want to work, find them part-time employment. If they want to go to school, full-time education. And that's the reason we want them to work part-time, because we want them to focus on their education. Right. If they want to join the military, we want to be able to help them to pass the ASVAB, to score high enough to get a great career, not just a job, but a career path. So if anyone has 2 homes that they'd like to allow us to use or to rent to us at a reasonable cost that would not be outrageous, taking care of all of the necessities, utilities, the security, and all of that, we would love that. And a place where we can also do gardening with them, so they know what eating natural and organic foods, and teaching them about nutrition and all of this kind of good stuff. So this is what we're looking for as well. And we call them the SAP homes because it's called Single Action Program. Okay. So we're really leaning forward because that was in our hearts to do since last year. We thought we found 1 home, but because the zoning classified as a group home, we couldn't be in a half a mile, I think, radius of another group home. Okay. So that always is the kicker right there. But if there's anyone out there that has a heart to help us in this area, that would be fantastic. And there are other organizations that is willing to help us who are doing similar things. But yeah, we really need your help. We really need your support in opening up these avenues. And that will prevent homelessness.
Mhm.
It would eliminate a lot of incarcerations. It would also eliminate a lot of homelessness, incarceration, and deaths.
Yeah.
Of our young people, because they all should deserve a hope in a future.
I can't wait to hear what happens and how people reach out, and everyone definitely check out Georgeanna and her and the Greater Life of Fayetteville and the
Yes.
difference they're making, and find a way to get involved, even if it's
Yes.
just, once a month or whatever you can do. Find
Yes,
a way.
exactly. Even once a month, just 2 hours a month is
Mhm.
fine. It'd be wonderful.
There's enough people in Cumberland County that
Yeah,
I think that would be easy.
exactly. And
Because
I would love to give a shout out to Councilwoman Ingram.
okay.
She is phenomenal. She came and visited us, spent some time with us, and
Wow.
really supporting us. And I really like to give a shout out to her. I want to tell her thank you. Yes.
Well, thank you, Councilwoman Ingram. Thank
Yes.
you. From Georgeanna and Greater Life of Fayetteville. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day as you continue to make impact everywhere you go and with everyone you talk to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for this week's ARRAYdio podcast. I'd love to have you join me every week, so make sure and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, just a quick reminder that all the information shared here is the property of Array Publishing and Marketing, LLC. Always affordable, always positive, and always community-minded. See you next time.